Such a beautiful song, such a pleasant weather, such a great event. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the finale of the 19th session of College English Public Speaking Contest of Tianjin Municipality and 2016 FLTP Cup National English Public Speaking Contest. I'm your host, Liu Xu.
I'm your hostess, Wen Ying, majoring in simultaneous interpreting from Tianjin Foreign Studies University. Good afternoon, everyone.
Bonjour à toutes et à tous, je m'appelle Li Yue, je suis étudiante du département de langue et littérature française. Good afternoon, I'm your hostess Li Yue. I'm majoring in French language and literature in Tianjin Foreign Studies University.
Buenas tardes a todos, soy Alejandro del Departamento de la Lengua y Literatura Hispánica. Good afternoon, I'm your host Xiang Sisong, majoring in Hispanic language and literature in Tianjin Foreign Studies University.
I'm majoring in interpreting from Tianjin Foreign Studies University. It's really an honor for us to be your host and hostess. Really welcome all of you to come to the finale and also come to our Tianjin Foreign Studies University. Welcome all of you. The contest is co-held by Tianjin Municipal Education Commission, Tianjin Foreign Languages Teaching and Advisory Board, Foreign Language Teaching and Research Press, hosted by Tianjin Foreign Studies University, and co-supported by universities in Tianjin.
After 3 semifinals of Tianjin Municipality, we have finally gone into the final round this afternoon. There are altogether 22 contestants who are going to compete with each other in this session. Every contestant semifinal has to finish 4 parts. The first part is prepared speech within 3 minutes. The second part is question and answer within 1 minute based on speech they delivered. The third part is impromptu speech. Contestants have to use their mouths in front of them and to choose a topic in the screen. And then they have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver the impromptu speech. The last part is comprehensive quiz. Today we're honored because we have invited many distinguished judges to be here. They like to give scores and make judgment when all the contestants finish their speeches and performances. The high score and the lowest score will be eliminated, and the average score of the first 3 rounds will be combined together with the score in the comprehensive quiz. That will be the final score for contestants. Now I'm honored to introduce today's distinguished judges to all of you. They are as followed. Professor Ji Weiwu from Tianjin University, welcome.
Professor Xu Jianzhong from Tianjin University of Technology.
Professor Tian Yao from Tianjin Foreign Studies University, welcome.
Professor Guo Qingzhu from Tianjin Polytechnic University, welcome.
Professor He Jianfen from Tianjin Medical University, welcome.
Professor Sun Jianchen from Tianjin University of Finance and Economics, welcome.
Professor Chen Lihong from Nankai University, welcome.
And also our question master, Clayton Williams from Tianjin Foreign Studies University, welcome.
Let's give all the judges a warm applause again. Thank you, thank you. And next, I would like to introduce the criteria of this final session of today's competition. Part A, prepared speech, and Part 2, Q&A session, both accounts for 30%. Part 3, impromptu speech, which accounts for 40%. The scores of these 3 parts are given specifically based on the language, content, and delivery skills of each contestant. And Part 4, comprehensive quiz, only accounts for 1%.
As for the prize of today's competition, the top 3 winners will be qualified to participate in the 2016 FLTRP Cup National English Public Speaking Contest on behalf of Tianjin Municipality. And the final result will be announced at the end of today's competition.
Okay, after the long introduction of our competition, also our distinguished judges, we'd like to get down to serious businesses now. And let's welcome contestant number 1 to deliver the speech, and contestant number 2, please get ready. Okay, contestant number 1, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty excited to be here as the first contestant, and I hope you enjoy the competition. Let's get started. Now, please imagine one day you wake up, you are unable to use words, gestures, or facial expressions. You have to live as a baby who is unable to speak in the rest of your life. How would you feel? Since we were born, we have been learning to speak, to exchange our feelings or thoughts, and that is communication. Important as it is, communication brings us countless benefits. Today, I will focus on one of those benefits. Communication helps to explore people's talents. Now I will share my personal experience with you. When I was 8, I met my father's friend who had just graduated from Tianjin Conservatory of Music. I was really interested in his major, the cucurbill flute. And I asked, could you please play a few snatches with your instrument? And he agreed. I was totally attracted and wanted to learn with him. Then he said, would you like to sing a song so I can tell what your potential is? And after hearing my song, he said, you can hold the tune easily. You must be talented in music. So he was willing to teach me. And finally, it turned out he was right. Several months later, I won a municipal competition, and later, I chose to play the cello and joined the high school and university orchestra. It was he who helped to discover my talent, a completely new me. And after so many years, I still appreciate him for starting my journey, finding my musical potential. At every stage of our life, communication always plays an important role. People show their views to each other in daily conversation, and those bits of the conversation could one day become the life-changing enlightenment in someone's life, inadvertently. And that is what my experience tell all of you. So after today's competition, you walk outside, turn to the people you like to talk with, tell them how you think, and listen what is on their minds. Trust me, you will get more than you expected because communication is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.
Okay, thank you for your performance. Let's move on to the next part, Q&A session. Let's welcome our question master to give you your question.
You said communication is the most indispensable part and also the standard for valuing people.
Yeah.
It brings us countless benefits and helps to explore people's talent.
Yeah.
Besides exploring someone else's talent, how else do you personally find value in other people?
You mean besides we can find others' potentials, what can we do for others by communication?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, of course, different people have different talents.
Yeah.
But in order to find value in someone, their value is not necessarily based just on someone's talent.
Yeah.
So how else do you find value in other people?
I think that the talent part, okay, thanks for your question. And I think the talent of people is not the only valuable thing of them. And what other also matters in a person's personality, maybe I think, in my opinion, there are two of them. And the first one is the humanity that you can find on this person. You know, it's just a morality thing or just, to care about the person around them. And that just can stand for one part of them, that's the humanity. And the second part, I think, is the
Okay,
will.
thank you for your
Okay,
answer, but the
thank
time
you.
is up. Okay, let's move on to next part, like it's impromptu speech. So which number would you choose? Please use your mouse.
Number 9.
Use your mouse.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Your topic is when people succeed, it is because of hard work. Luck has nothing to do with success. Do you agree or disagree with the quotation above? Use specific reasons and examples to explain your position. And you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon again. And speaking as a whole, I think it is true that sometimes people succeed is because of the opportunities, and which means the luck. And take my personal experience. And yesterday, when I attended this competition, I was the last contestant. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but at last, I found that if you can try to find the advantages of a situation that you are in, then what is luck? That no one else can tell you what is luck. Then it is yourself that can decide which kind of situation means luck. So I largely agree with this statement. And the second thing I think luck has basically has nothing to do with your success, is because the sustainability of a person is very important. And it doesn't mean that when you are in bad luck, then you have no chance, not only a little chance to succeed in your life. Maybe you can just those situations, translated them into the other kind of situation. Then there is no need to care about whether luck is the determined factors in your success. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your impromptu speech. And then let's move on to your last part. Your last part is multiple choice. You can use your mouse to choose the answer you think is right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, your highest score is 96.25. Your lowest score is 88.5. Your average score is 90.65. So your final score is 91.4. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's welcome contestant number 2. I think she's also ready to deliver the speech. Welcome.
Honorable judges, dear friends, I want to tell you a story of mine. I once joined a summer camp where I did volunteering work with Koreans. One night we were having hot pot. A Korean girl slurped a long stripe of raw duck intestine from her plate. While I screamed out to stop her, she already swallowed it with a satisfied look on her face. I later asked Jupiter, my favorite Korean teammate, why she did that. Instead of giving me a direct answer, Jupiter recommended me this Korean film, saying that this would dispel my doubt. There was this particular scene that took me aback. A Korean man ordered a raw octopus in a sushi restaurant. He ate it alive, then he fainted. Seeing the shock on my face, Jupiter explained that octopus can wriggle for a long time after they die. The man in the film ate so fast that the octopus twisted its tentacles violently and blocked the man's airway. That's why he fainted. I asked him, okay, would Korean in real life eat an unprocessed whole octopus, just like the man did in the film? He said, no. I took a sigh of relief, thinking that they're not completely insane. However, he went on to explain that that's because it's too expensive to do that. They usually just order cut up tentacles, which also wriggle when you bite it. Looking at my favorite Korean teammates, I suddenly had this epiphany. Cultural tolerance is the key in our communication. When interacting with foreign friends, we might get startled, we might frown, we might yell out of total disbelief in our hearts. But it is cultural diversity that sparks communication. It is cultural tolerance that forms a global vision for us. It is cultural understanding that brings peace and friendship. If I were to pursue development on a greater stage or play the role as a cultural ambassador, tolerance is the first thing I'll have to learn. Otherwise, forcing my belief on others, I'll be acting like those French who frowned upon Muslim women for their veils, for their burkinis, a swimsuit covering Muslim women's whole body, just because these garments contradict their idea of modern women. But aren't these narrow minds just spreading the seeds of hatred into a future of conflict? Thank you.
Thank you for your performance. So let's listen to your question.
I was inspired when you said, in cross-cultural communication, we might get startled. We might frown on unimaginable differences and yell in total disbelief in our heart, but it is cultural diversity that sparks communication between peoples. It reminded me of the many times, both in America and in China, we often pass someone on the street who is homeless or has a physical deformity. Most people just continue on walking and make judgments in their heart about these people. Next time you see someone on the street who is either homeless or has a physical deformity, what can you yourself do to understand more about that person?
Thank you for your question. I personally encountered a beggar when I was in Wuhan. He was singing with a stereo blast, his ugly voice blasting from the stereo, and that was not a pleasant voice, and it looks like I have no reason to give him a penny for his performance because it's a poor performance. But other days, I read this article that foreigners would share his French fries with a beggar on the streets. And I was so inspired by their compassion, by their sympathy with because these folks, those folks who are begging on the streets, they are same person. They are human beings, and we are all human beings. We should be sympathetic with them. And next time I pass one beggars,
Okay.
I think I will sympathize with them.
Yes. Thank you for your answer. Let's move on to your next part. You can use your mouse to choose a number on the screen. Okay. Some say military training and college is necessary, while others disagree. What's your point of view on this subject and why? And you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Thank you for your question. I believe military training at college is very necessary. I met this, the Jupiter from my prepared speech, he actually told me about his experience when he was enrolled in the military for 2 years because he's Korean. And when interacting with my Korean teammates, I could feel that their willpower, they do not tend to give up in face of hardship. However, some Chinese boys might, sweating all over and feeling very weak in front of challenging tasks. So I think the first meaning of military training is that it strengthens your will. This is an important quality of university students. And secondly, I think military training is about the spirit of unity, the team spirit. Now, individualism is on the rise. Our peers are tends to look after themselves. They seek their self-interest instead of looking out for others. And in military training, everything has to be carried out on the basis of unity, on the basis of a class, a group. That's something that is missing. So first is the will, second is the team spirit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your impromptu speech. So last part is multiple choice, and we have several questions for you, and you need to choose the answer that you think is right. And for every question, you have 20 seconds to choose. Start. Yes. You have finished all your 4 parts. Let's look at your score. Your highest score is 95.01. Your lowest score is 90.25. Your average score is 92.45. So your final score is 93.20. Congratulations. So let's welcome contestant number 3. Contestant number 4, please get ready. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, start.
Good afternoon, everyone. My topic today is the magic power of communication. When humans were first created, they were made to speak the same language. It occurred to man one day that they would build a tower reaching high into the heavens. Barrier-free communication made everything go smoothly, and the tower was about to finish overnight. But before long, God learned about this and was shocked by humans' great efficiency. He quickly worked things out by making men speak different languages and thus making communication out of the question. The construction came to a halt and turned out to be a failure. What is worse still, from that day on, people started moving away from each other, and endless conflicts and misunderstanding never ceased to result. This legend gives us a clear idea of how important the communication can be in social interactions and in every aspect of human life. When I was in high school, I volunteered for a visit in a local orphanage, and a especially quiet boy caught my attention, and I was told he was stricken with autism. Out of sympathy and affection, I reached out to them and patted him on the shoulder, but of course, I got no response. But later on, as I continued the visits, showing my interest and concern, he became more open, and sometimes he even returned my smile. Everyone said he is a changed child. That experience helped me realize that I have the potential of tendering a human soul and even influence one's life. Actually, communication can go on with or without the help of the spoken words. Churchill appealed to his countrymen to fight fascists with his inspiring words that we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. Martin Luther King asserted to the world with this powerful communication that I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by their color of skin, but by their character, which finally brought justice and equality to his colored brothers and sisters. With communication, we get to know that people actually share so much in connected and feel so much grounded in the same human race. With communication, we realize that there's nothing we cannot do under the sun, as it is a power that can move mountains. With communication, we can unite the world's people as no one has ever done before. I say to you, my dear audience, we are so much well-grounded in our belief that as long as we give due efforts to communication, we will regain the power of building the Tower of Babel that even God would shake in his boots. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to your next part. Let's listen to your question.
As you said, communication can go on with or without the help of spoken words. In fact, love is the greatest form of communication. And in many cases, it does not have to be spoken in words. Because true love does not seek its own interests, but the interests of others. In other words, it puts others before ourselves at all costs and has the power to move mountains. Ironically, a lot of humans operate out of false love because they expect something in return for their contribution to others. Why is it better to do things out of true love instead of false love?
Okay, thank you for your question. Love can have many kinds of expressions. We can speak "I love you" to someone you love, and to someone you love, and you can do some things you think is good to them. And I say this. I take this example for this autism boy, and I watched a TED speech, and it said actually everyone we had that kind of genes that we may get autism. Like Tesla and Mozart and even Einstein, they were diagnosed with autism when they were young. And I think I really didn't talk too much to that boy because I know he's autism. He won't talk to me. So I gave eye contact and pat him on the shoulder and just spend time with him and let him know that I was there for him. And that's my expression of love, the right love to someone I like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Let's move on to your third part. You can use your mouse to choose a number on the screen. Okay. How do movies or television influence people's behavior? Use reasons and specific examples to support your answer. You have 90 seconds to prepare, and you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Okay, I think actually I'm a big fan of American series, especially, do you know an American series called The Vampire Diaries? And it is said they were all vampires and they have some character, like move fast and you can control someone's mind with your eyes and even feed one's blood. That's not realistic in our real life, but when I was younger, I really liked to be a vampire, and I focused on that one character, like you can control someone's mind, and you let them do what you want, and it's a kind of desire of controlling, and when I grow up, I find it's really not realistic, and the most important thing I've learned from that television, that American series, to how to love your family. There's a little brother who's called Stephen. Whatever situation he meets, his choice is always his brother Damon. And no matter what he does right or wrong, he's always chooses his own brother. What I learned from that American series to how to love with your families and even your friends, that's somewhat like. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Let's move on to the last part, multiple choice. In this part, you will have several choices to make which you think are right. And for every choice, you have 20 seconds to make. Start. Okay, so all your 4 parts have been finished, and we'd like to wait for your final scores. So before we have your final score, just now, when you were doing your multiple choices, you seem a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel? Like, it's very difficult, or you just have no ideas at that time?
It's something I'm not really aware of it. It's a very technical. I can't say.
Yes. Maybe next time you will do it better.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's look at your height score is 94.45. Your lowest score is 89.88. Your average score is 91.56. So your final score is 91.81. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's welcome contestant number 4 to deliver his speech. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to stand here. Today I'm going to tell a story about communication. Actually, I never thought I'd have such a chance to stand here when I was in middle school. I still remember how shocked I was on the first day to my school when somebody told me that school was totally a mess. After reporting to my school, the first year began. Just as I was told, that school was indeed a mess. At that time, I was too young to tell right from wrong. Climbing over the fence to go to the internet cafe and playing the bully and cheating on all exams. I became the bad student to all my teachers, and I was definitely a mess with a bleak future and cannot be saved. At the beginning of Junior 3, I had a new female teacher. I would never know that my life was changed for good by the first conversation we had. After the first class, I was asked to go to the office. In the office, the teacher welcomed me with a glass bowl filled with water, saying, "Put your fingers into it and tell me what you feel." "It's warm," I replied. Without a word, she dropped the frog into that bowl and lit up the burner below it. At first, the frog swam comfortably, but with the increased water temperature, the frog started to struggle. Anyhow, it can't get out till dead. I was really shocked. Then my teacher turned to me. What she said still echoes in my heart, word by word, until now. She said, "The frog is you, and the school is the water. You swam comfortably in that warm water for 2 years. You did the things you like, you played the game you wanted, but the last year's coming, and the water is burning. Do you think you have the strength and ambition to jump off that water?" I felt sick to my stomach, and I cried out. I was so regretful. It's cruel, boy. You need to wake up and jump out of that water before it's too late. After that, I devoted all myself to study. Little by little, stronger and more ambitious I became. Finally, I jumped out. Thanks to that talk, I became the first frog jumping out of the old world. Thanks to my noble teacher, I learned the meaning of effort and ambition. Thanks to communication, I can be who I am today. Communication is a wonderful power. It tells you the truth. It enlightens your potential. And it leads you to a different world, even for a frog. That's my story. Thanks for listening.
Okay, let's move on to your question Q&A session. Welcome.
Your teacher who pulled you to the side and gave you this wonderful example is to be greatly admired. She saw some character flaws in you by the way you were acting and brought them to your attention by encouraging you to change your behavior. However, I have a Chinese friend who told me that if a Chinese sees someone doing something wrong, they typically will not correct them for fear of making them upset. I do not necessarily agree with this because you could end up saving someone's life. Next time you see a friend doing things they should not be doing, kind of like your teacher did with you with the frog example, how will you communicate to them to change their behavior?
Thank you for the question. For me, if I had a friend that he's doing the wrong thing, first, I won't talk to him in the straight with that, you're wrong, you can't do this. I will tell him an example, maybe from a story that if you keep doing this, you'll be a bad man. You won't succeed in your future, and you will get a terrible life. And I will maybe take him to the movie theater to see a movie with him. And I will choose a specific topic for that movie, maybe see that, look at that man. He was good, but he did a wrong thing, that he became bad. And at the end of the movie, the bad man always failed, right? And I'll tell him, yeah, just look at that man. You can't do things like that. I won't talk to him in a straight way. I say, oh, you're wrong. And he definitely will be mad at me. No, I'm not wrong. I'm doing right. I'm doing the right thing. But I think we can't talk to him I can't talk to him in a straight way. That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And your next part is the impromptu speech. Use your mouse to choose a number on the screen. Okay. Nowadays, many people are afraid to help the old who fall down in the street for the fear of being cheated. Do you agree or disagree with the statement, and why? You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Okay, I definitely not agree with this agreement because now, as you can see in a lot of news, a lot of students or maybe young people, they look the old man or old lady fell down the street, they will go to help her or him and send her to the hospital because he's dying or she's dying. And we, a young generation, we had a desire to help people, and we can't see that happening. Maybe because, but there are a lot of people doing it in the wrong way because they do it without taking a video before sending the old man or old lady to the hospital. Maybe some old man, old lady were accused them of money, right? Because a lot of people saying it's not we don't want to help. It's because the bad people grow old. Right? Actually, it's not. As a young generation, we need to take the responsibility for helping the old people because they used to do a lot for this society, and they help this society move forward. And because of them, we can have the life we have right now. Because of them, we can go to the better hospital, go to the better school. Because of them, they did a lot of great things for us. So as young generation, we need to help them. But maybe we can take a video before doing that. For proving that we're innocent. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your very hilarious answer. So your last part is multiple choice. You also have several choices to make, and now I think you can start. Okay, so your highest score is 95.1. Your lowest score is 89.8. Your average score is 92.43. So your final score is 93.43. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's welcome our next contestant to deliver the speech. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, communication is so everyday and so everywhere. Through communication, how many of you feel happy? How many of you think that you have a lonely heart? Frankly speaking, in my childhood, communication was black. During my college years, communication was blue. But now communication for me is red and green. Today, I'm a new soul standing here, sharing with you my every first-time story. Communication was a cloud of bold black hovering over my head. I've been restraining myself in the presence of my parents and resulted in my first time escaping from home. When I was in middle school, I was almost 200 pounds. My classmates used to call me elephant. Even my parents yelled at me, "Do you have any idea how fat and ugly you are?" No affection, no patience. All left was endless rebukes. I refused to communicate with anyone out of inferiority complex, and all I wanted to do was to flee from this dark world. During my college years, communication was a surge of dark blues left in my heart. The first time disappointed love confession made me suffer from depression. Back then, I had a crush on a boy. He was the first person who volunteered to talk to me, the first person who didn't judge me for being fat, the first person who was willing to share his secrets with me. Why must I conceal what I think and how I feel? For the first time in my life, I plugged on my courage and confessed to him. But he turned me down. Consequently, my life turned sad blue. So I closed my heart and became self-indulgent. However, all the suffering disappeared after a heart-to-heart talk with my lovely English teacher. It was the first time that I gained recognition from other people. Since then, communication was a bursting flame of red burning in my heart and a lush forest of green endowing me with fresh power. It was my teacher who dragged me from depression. She consoled me, "Hey, Poppy, cheer up. Failure is nothing but a stripping away of the inessentials." It was my teacher who led me to the magic world of English public speaking. I took part in all kinds of competitions, from CCTV Cup to 21st Century Coca-Cola Cup. I won many prizes and became enthusiastic about communication by sharing my life story and injecting positive energy to my audience. Ladies and gentlemen, from refusal, fear, to willingness, communication for me now is no longer cold black or sad blue, but vibrant red and dynamic green. Communication will add more wonderful colors to the future chapters of my life. Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's listen to your question.
I appreciate that, in a sense, you felt like a new door opened up after you had a heart-to-heart talk with your teacher. Perhaps your teacher was able to identify with you with your feeling and her own experiences. Can you give your own interpretation of the following famous quote? "If you talk to a man in the language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart."
Okay, thank you for your question. As I mentioned in my speech, that is my teacher who dragged me from depression and led me to the magic world of English public speaking. As I mentioned in my speech, that failure is nothing but a stripping away of the inessentials. Is my teacher sharing her life story with me. Actually, it is adapted from the famous speech that J.K. Rowling delivered at Harvard University. As we all know that before she became this fastest-selling author of Harry Potter, she was just a stay-at-home wife. We all had our aversions, but it is aversion that makes us who we are today. For example, if I hadn't experienced the disappointing love confession, how am I going to meet my present boyfriend who's loving, caring, and we can have discussions from the Syria problem to US presidential debate? And if not for the aversion that I experienced in my middle school, how am I going to dig deep into my heart and find who I am today? And I appreciate my teacher because she communicated with me not in a way that a usual adult talk to a teenager, but she consoled me and she always cheers me up in the language that I can understand. Thank you very
for your
much.
answer. Let's move on to the next part. You should choose a number with your mouse. Nowadays, Western festivals are increasingly welcome in China. Do you think it is good or not? You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever experienced such scenario? When it's Christmas Day, the birth of Jesus, people have Christmas tree and decorated with those dazzling decorations in their house, and people dress like Santa Claus working on the street. And when it's Halloween, people carve pumpkins and they dress like ghosts to scare people and they say trick or treat. Well, in my opinion, I think that nowadays Western festivals are increasingly welcome in China. It is actually a very good phenomenon. Because first, it increases the cultural diversity. For example, when you are walking in the most prosperous streets in Manhattan, you can see the Chinese temple, you can see the Chinese town, you can see those Chinese restaurants. So those Western people can enjoy the Chinese tradition when they are abroad. And also, if you walk in the Lingyin Temple, or if you walk in the Bell Tower in Xi'an, you can actually see Starbucks. They're like, they have this very traditional Chinese letters writing Starbucks, but actually I think it is very good for the cultural diversity where people can exchange our ideas and it is a symbol of globalization. And second, I think that it is very good for our economy because as we all know that when it's festival, people just rush to the stores and buy a lot of things. Take me for an example, when it's Christmas, I bought a lot of festival candles like cinnamons and pumpkins. And also, I bought the costume of Santa Claus. I even bought a little Christmas tree and placed them as a decoration in my dormitory. So I think it's a very good phenomenon. Thank you very much.
Okay. So your last part is also multiple choice. But before you start your multiple choice, I'd like to remind our audiences, during our contestants is doing her part, please keep quiet. Thank you for your cooperation. Now you can start. Okay, all your 4 parts have been finished, so your highest score is 96.85. Your lowest score is 91.5. Your average score is 93.64. So your final score is 94.39. Congratulations. Let's welcome contestant number 6 to deliver his speech, and contestant number 7, please get ready. Welcome contestant number 6.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's very nice to see all of you gathering here this pleasant afternoon. I'm contestant number 6, and I'm really glad to stand in front of you to make a speech about communication. Communication, one of the most important factors for our society to develop and enhance. As we all know, we communicate every day in order to convey ideas and understand each other. It is so prevalent that not only human beings communicate, but also animals. Every living thing on this planet interacts with each other. one way or another. By communicating, we can expand our horizons and the perspective of seeing things. Imagine a world that is without communication. Everyone is living in their own world. No sharing, no spiritual acceptance, no tolerance for each other. However, once they communicate, they'll know how pleasant and how beautiful this world is. They will be so outgoing and extroverted. Communication is so wonderful that as long as we communicate, it can help us realize the real world. And more importantly, we can realize ourselves. For example, through communication, we can know the difference between ourselves and others, find out our own shortcomings, and fill them up with the insights and the principles that we have learned. Without communication, there will not be any enhancement, let alone prosperity. Everyone has got a mind of their own. It's very nice to share different ideas with different people. And in my opinion, the most effective way and the best thing is to communicate. Also, it's very interesting to communicate with the people who live in totally different ways than us, such as foreigners. And it seems like interesting things begin to happen every time when I try to speak English in front of other Chinese students, that I'm often considered one of the foreigners. Because as they say, I have this foreigner look, that these eyes, this nose, and color of my skin make me not look like Chinese. And just for fun, I often pretend that I'm an American and talk to others. It gets really interesting every time that they actually think of me as a foreigner and speak English to me very excitedly. At the end, I of course tell them the truth that I'm actually a Chinese, which brings a lot of doubts and astonishment. They'll be so shocked every time that they don't even believe me. But after we communicate, they'll know that I was actually born in China and grew up in China. I have communicated with so many different people: American, English, Canadian, Turkish, Japanese, Korean. They helped me to understand the varieties of the world. They taught me how to make contact with it. They encouraged me to embrace the beautiful reality. And from that moment, I realized the potential that I have, that I can communicate. And the reason that I can stand on the stage today is I'm not afraid to communicate. I'm willing, and it is needed. So I hope from now on, from this moment, let's communicate. Let's know each other and lead each other to a brighter way. Thank you.
Okay, now let's listen to your question.
You said that it is so prevalent that not only human beings communicate, but also animals. Every living thing on the planet interacts with each other, one way or another. According to your statement, since every living thing on the planet communicates with each other, can you give some examples of how humans and plants have a form of communication?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, you asked a question that rather if a person, or let's say if a human being communicates with plants, right? I think I said that every living thing on this planet interacts with each other. Like human beings communicate by speaking each other, like speaking their language or their own languages. And also, animals also communicate, and plants also communicate. Let's say if a person communicates with a plant, I think planting, for example, watering a plant is also communication, because we can take care of plants. That is also a way of communication, expression of showing our love to plants, the living things. And about some other species, like for example, animals, we have pets in our home, like dogs, cats. That's also communication. We like animals, we love animals. We can bring them to our home, and we can also give them some foods we like. We can show our love to them. That's also one way to communicate. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you should choose a number with your mouse on the screen. Do you think nowadays the young generation's life is in fact easier and more comfortable than their elder generations? And you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliberate.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I agree with the idea that nowadays young generation's life is more easier than the elder generation's life for the following reasons. Let's compare two times. let's say elder generation's time, I think the technology is the most big difference between the time that elder generation have and now we have. Like for example, we have this cars, we have the airplanes, we have this telecommunication, telephones, WeChat, every kind of communication that we have. This technology is developed and also other technology also developed. But in the ancient time or some decades ago, we don't have that kind of communication. So that made our life more easier. And elder generations also, maybe the idea of the young generations are more developed than the elders because we can accept different ideas. I think our parents or more elderly people cannot agree with some idea that we have in nowadays. For example, they cannot accept the cultures, they cannot believe some technology, and they cannot accept some people's behavior. But I think nowadays we can accept all of this stuff. So young generations are more likely to accept new things and can learn stuff, be knowledgeable than elder generation. So for about reasons, I think young generations' life is easier than elder generations. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's look at your last part, multiple choice. And for each question, you have 20 seconds to finish it. Start. Okay, all your 4 parts have been finished. Let's look at your score. Your highest score is 96.55. Your lowest score is 90.01. Your average score is 94.02. Your final score is 94.27. Congratulations. Okay, let's welcome our next contestant to deliver her speech. Welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to communicate with every one of you present here. Today, my topic is communication creates miracles. If you, my friends, happen to browse the Forbes billionaire list in 2016, you may discover that 5 of the top 10 entrepreneurs have set foot in the field of communication, including Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook and Michael Bloomberg with journalism. John Dewey once said, "Of all affairs, communication is most wonderful." Well, what I believe is, among all events, communication is most miraculous. I have experienced the wonders of communication myself. Years ago, my family adopted a dog named Coffee, who had been abused by his former owner. Coffee was extremely timid and panic-stricken whenever someone approached him. In order to make him feel our love and soothe his pain, I brought him dog food and toys every day, stroke his hair, and make eye contact. It is exhilarating that my communication worked. Coffee was no longer scared. Now, he enjoys lying on my laps or playing ball games with me. The mutual trust established between 2 different species is a miracle created by communication. The miracles can be trivial or marvelous. It can ignite the vigor and vitality of a nation. Tracing back to Qing Dynasty, the policy of seclusion cut off all the connection between China and the outside world, which simultaneously impede all means of communication. As a result, China became pedantic and backward. Fortunately, the glory of our Chinese nation was sparkling again with the reform and opening up policy, as well as One Belt, One Road. Thanks to the miracles of communication, we were able to end the gloomy era of isolation. Its miraculous power also shines on the global stage. Through negotiations and consultations, we were able to avoid unnecessary sacrifices on the battlefield and constructed an ever civilized and harmonious society. To maintain international peace and security, we have United Nations. To promote cultural exchange, we have UNESCO. To facilitate trade cooperation, we have WTO. So, ladies and gentlemen, communication ubiquitously exists among nature, animals, individuals, and nations. What we need to do is to make best use of communication and create miracles of our own. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Now let's move on to your Q&A session.
You mentioned 2 of the top 10 entrepreneurs listed in the Forbes billionaire list in 2016.
Yeah.
One of those was Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Besides Mark Zuckerberg's creation of Facebook, how do you think Mark Zuckerberg has contributed towards communication and relations with China?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Mark Zuckerberg has initiated the revolution of communication. The Facebook can be deemed as the ancestor of our WeChat or QQ. And on the other hand, he has married his Chinese wife. And it is a cultural communication between China and America. And this kind of cultural communication has another sparkling points because it is among the people and not on the level of technology. So I think Mark Zuckerberg is really a talent in the aspect of technology as well as the cultural exchange. I really appreciate his contribution to our society.
Hope you enjoy the communication between you and me. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's see your question.
You mentioned being inspired with the idea of volunteer work and becoming attracted to becoming a volunteer. Surely this is hard work, and I speak from experience. I worked as a volunteer doing many things like working with the homeless, working in an orphanage, and helping people with disabilities. While all of this gives us greater and greater experiences, it most importantly builds our character. How does volunteer work build our character?
Okay, thank you. And your American pronunciation is really appealing, so I will change into my American mode. Okay, thank you for your question, and I would like to say, just like I've mentioned in my speech, there are three kinds of people: American teachers and honorable foreign guests, and also some students who do their voluntary work. So from that conference, I began to know that no matter they are teachers, honorary guests, or students, they do have a heart, the enthusiasm for the voluntary work. And also from them, the honorable foreign guests, they do some international exchange work, the voluntary work. And for the students, they focus on some details, their daily routines, even clean up a trash bin near their school. I think no matter these details or those really big work on the international level, they are all different, they are all equal, and they means the enthusiasm for the voluntary work. So that's really important. And as for me, I would like to do something just like to help my classmates on the daily routine. And also, I've been one of the organizers of the entrepreneur of that foreign
Okay,
and
time's
also
up.
we have a winter camp. Thank you.
Thank you. Now please choose a number on the screen for an impromptu speech. Okay, some people prefer to live in a small town, others prefer to live in a big city. Which place would you prefer to live in? Use specific reasons and details to support your answer. Now you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver.
Okay, big city or small city? It is a very interesting question. And I still cannot forget my experience when I went to Suzhou when I was really young. And the relaxed atmosphere there really attract me. But however, I still choose to live in big city now because I want to use my experience to when I went to Beijing as an example. I went to Beijing first when I was in senior grade 1 in my high school. And at that time, I went there to have a Model United Nations conference as a delegate. And at that time, it really broadened my horizons because it's the first time that I have the chance to saw some of the officers from the United Nations. And it really aroused my dream of becoming a diplomat. So I like to live in Beijing and other kind of big cities. First is because I can have a better view and it broadened my horizons. Secondly, I think the last time I went to Beijing is in this winter holiday. And at that time, I received a phone call from my teacher, and he asked me, what about my exam? Because after he calculated the mark, and he found that my score is not really good. So at that time, I felt really disappointed. And at that time, I was in those really beautiful city and seeing the night views. However, my heart is really sad. So at that time, I knew that I have to have the ambition, have the pride to look forward and to pursue my dream, and I have to work hard. So I think this kind of ambition is really important, which can only these big cities give us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's see your comprehensive quiz. Okay, your highest score is 95.89 and your lowest score is 90.11 and your final score is 94.60. Thank you.
so much.
Now let's welcome contestant number 9 to deliver her speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to stand here and give a speech. Today, my topic is communication makes the world a better place. Firstly, let's imagine a world without language, body language, and anything related to communication. Every morning, we cook breakfast by ourselves, but the materials for cooking has to be collected by ourselves, for without communication, we can't make purchases. When it's time to work, we can only do some simple jobs, since complicated work requires teamwork, which also asks for communication. After work, we may date with someone, but it's only for natural needs instead of emotional needs, because we don't have the ability to convey our emotions. When it's night, of course, we sleep alone. Obviously, without communication, there's no market, no division of labor, no loving caring, and no great achievements. We celebrate with ourselves when we are happy and comfort ourselves when we are sad. We even spirit arguing, but only struggle when there's trouble, just like the human beings in the primitive times. Are we happy to see that? Is that a world we like? The answer is absolutely no. Fortunately, the world we are living in is a place where communication is found everywhere and keeps making our world a better place. It not only exerts great influence on our personal lives, but also plays an important role in the relationship of countries. Dating back to Han Dynasty, we had a famous Silk Road connecting China with other nations, and it brought about the prosperity and strength of Han Dynasty. Nowadays, we have One Belt, One Road to enhance the communication and cooperation with more than 40 countries, thus creating numerous chances for the development of China. More than 30 years ago, in 1978, our Chinese government put reform and open up policy into practice, establishing a communication with the outside world. It is because of the open up and communication that our country has witnessed the wonderful miracle of rapid development and great achievements within merely several decades. Besides, from transfer of sovereignty over Hong Kong and Macau to the Korean nuclear issue we are confronted with now, we've been settling the problems through communication instead of declaring a war. Communication works wonders. It contributes prosperity, it creates emotional bonds, and it brings about peace. And just like what John Dewey remarked, of all affairs, communication is the most wonderful. Communication is undoubtedly the worthiest invention of our human beings with the millions of years evolution. It marks the advance of human society. It is the symbol of civilization. It creates wonders over and over again, and it makes our world a better place. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Clayton, please.
You said that through communication, we can find out our own shortcomings and fill them up with the insights and principles of life that we have learned. What have you learned about yourself after someone close to you has shared their own shortcomings with you? In other words, give an experience that someone has shared some shortcomings with you, and what did you learn about yourself?
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, I'm a kind of person that I like to communicate with others, and I often give some advice and suggestions to my friends. And it did happen that one of my friends, she is a little bit shy, and she told me that she's afraid of talking in public and in front of so many people. But she has to do that sometimes. She was very confused about how to deal with that, and so she consulted me. When I heard of that, I found that they're a person, they are really introverted and they don't know how to show themselves. But how to say that? And from her shortcoming, I learned that I have the courage to stand in front of other people, and I know it's my talent. But sometimes for them, they are really. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now please choose a number. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Television has destroyed communication among friends and family. Use specific reasons and examples to support your opinion. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver.
Okay, as I understand this statement, I think it is true. Nowadays, television, every family has televisions, and there are varieties of TV series and TV shows. Especially for the teenagers, they are obsessed with the interesting TV series. So to some extent, it is do destroy the communication among friends and family. Take my sister as an example. She's a kind of a girl who's really outgoing actually, but now she's in the first year of her junior high school. Because she's very obsessed with some TV series like the Happy Camp. She seldom talk with my parents and me. It is because she's a teenager and now she's in a critical period for his grown up, for his development. But because of the television, she seldom tell what she think about to us. I think that to that extent, it really destroyed the communication between me and my sister, and also my sister and my family. So I think television has destroyed the communication among friends and family. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to your comprehensive quiz. Okay, your highest score is 94.51 and your lowest score is 90.11 and your final score is 93.46. Thank you. Now let's welcome contestant number 10 to deliver her speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to be here, and my topic today is never say goodbye. At the very beginning of this summer, I got the most heartbreaking call in my life, telling me my beloved grandfather had left me forever. I can't recall how I came back to my dorm that rainy day. What I do remember was my tears soaked every inch of the path with rolling thunder from deep sky. Life without grandfather was tough and sudden to me. Whenever I closed my eyes, the scene he held my hands hit me. My first contact with death pushed me into the abyss of desperate miss and fear of departure. Those days, I was just like an emotionally drained husk. However, every day I received calls from my friends who once suffered pains of losing their love to share their experiences in hope that I can stand up too. My roommates give me a hug every day without words, which warmed my heart. Besides, turning to resonant movies, lectures, books enlightened me. I choked with sobs when Sirius Black told Harry Potter, as well as me, the one loves us, never really leaves us. I burst into tears when Calvin, professor of positive psychology from Harvard University, shares his story with The world is beautiful. Even just a little bitty, we all need to live. I sank into thinking when Japanese movie Departures reveals, living will never be an end, but a new beginning. Those significant soul communications between profound writers, speakers, directors, and me inspire me like baptisms, taking my sorrow away. Anguish time has passed, and I gain my valuable potential from all of those wonderful communications. From friends to celebrities, from words to actions, from pages to screens. Just like beacons, they illuminated the coldest and darkest corner in my heart. Instead of wrestling with tough texts and getting stuck again and again, I began to echo those meaningful communications in my own way, converging lines of them to help myself to cope with tribulations and slip over the emotional traumas in bittersweet life. By combining the essence from all of those communications and experiences, with my own thinking, I trudge along with great strength. Never say goodbye to my love, to my courage. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move on to your Q&A session.
You said that significant soul communications between profound writers, speakers, directors inspired you like baptisms, taking away your sorrows.
Yeah.
In these examples, you use them as metaphors to describe baptisms. Can you further explain what a baptism is and how a baptism serves to take away your sorrows?
Yeah, thank you for a question. We know baptisms is a part of the religion, and it really takes my sorrow away because those wise people, celebrities, I trust in them because they have suffered the same pain like mine, and I can resonate with their stories, with their experiences. For example, positive psychology, there's one conception of that course touched me, is give myself permission to be human, which means we all need to learn how to treat happiness, sadness, life and death, up and downs in our whole life with a calm heart in a humanistic way, never pretend or hide. If I know it's destined for me to part with whom and what I love, I will try my best to cherish every moment when we're still together. And living will never be an end when I can say goodbye without regret. It is not a stop sign, but a guideline for me to
Okay,
live.
time's up.
Thank you.
Now you can choose your number. Okay, this era has witnessed an explosion of information. People can easily find information they need, so they become lazy to think in their own ways. Some people say too much information spoils our creativity. Do you agree with it? Why? Okay, you can start.
I think too much information doomed spoils our creativity because we know creativity's foundation is information. Whenever I prepare my presentation in my course, I will search a lot of information through internet, including Google or Baidu. So I think we need a lot of information because information helps us to elevate our minds. For example, I used to work with one sister who is a hotelier, and she told me Whenever she organizes something about hotel organization, she will choose to search on OTA. I just asked her, what is OTA? She told me OTA is online travel agency, which is a platform based on GDS, Global Distribution System. So I'm just curious about everything, and I think if I can get a lot of information from those approaches around us, it will easy for us to elevate our productivity. And if I can use these ways to get information, it will be a stepping stone for us, but not a stopping block. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now let's see your comprehensive quiz. Okay, your highest score is 94.2 and the lowest score is 89, and your final score is 91.63.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's welcome contestant number 11.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'll begin with the invention of sign language. In primitive times, hunters used body gestures as a communication tool when they were hunting. Deaf and dumb people could not listen and talk, but they were so eager to communicate that they learned from the hunters and created their own sign language. So, one promoted deaf-mute to invent their new language. It is human's desire to communicate. Communication is human nature, which happens everywhere, at every time, and around everyone. When I was a little girl, I thought definition of the word communication is talking to people. However, my father, who's strict and harsh, seldom talks to me or shows his pride or loving care, even when I get good grades. From time to time, I even had doubt of his love for me. Maybe I was not good enough. Maybe I was not the perfect child as he had expected. With time passing by, I felt less and less assured of myself until years later, an accident happened to me. One day, I went skiing with my friends. When I slid down from the top of the slope, someone suddenly knocked me down and my left kneecap fractured. While in the hospital, the doctor was checking my wound while my mother was busy running the errands. All of a sudden, I saw my father's eyes welled up with tears, still with no words. Then he tapped me on my shoulder with his trembling hands. At that moment, for the first time in my life, I felt my heart connecting with his. I cried and hugged him like a little kid. From then on, that cold winter night at hospital has become the warmest memory in my mind, for I finally understand the true meaning of communication. With or without words, communication can create wonders. It cleaned the air between my father and I and enabled me to regain my confidence. Since then, as a beneficiary of communication, I've found my passion and energy in working as a student mental therapist in my university. And now, my fellow students come to me with their problems or misgivings, and I talk to them, listen to them, hold their hands, or sometimes just give them an encouraging smile. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to your next part.
As a student mental therapist at your university, you must hear all sorts of heartbreaking stories and stories that have difficult solutions as students come to you with their problems. What are some of the negative aspects of working as a mental therapist? In other words, with any volunteer position or any job, there's good aspects of the position, but also are negative aspects. So in your position as the mental therapist, what are some of the negative aspects that you have experienced?
Well, to answer this question, I want to take an example. Because now I'm the vice chairman in my student union. There was a freshman, let's call him Diamond, who built his own band. So at first, Diamond had difficulties communicating with his teammates. So he came to me and asked me, and I said, have you ever thought about the musical style all you want? Have you ever listened to them carefully? So why not just sit down and drink some beers, or why not, we're young people, and just created a chance to have a deep talk. And so I want to play a role as a bridge between them and help them to give a wonderful performance at our gala. So what I want to say is that no matter if you want to have influence on others or the society or even the world, the first step is that you must.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now you can choose a number. Some people believe that university students should be required to attend classes. Others believe that going to classes should be optional for students. Which point of view do you agree? Why? You have 30 seconds to prepare.
As a student, I do agree with that. University students should go to classes. There are two reasons. The first reason is that nowadays we have the good condition to sit at a good classroom, to listen to the teachers, to show her opinions, and we learn from it. Why not? We just make the best use of it. Because my parents always say that. At her time, he didn't have a very good condition. They will walk a long distance to attend class. So I think that if we own this kind of good conditions, why not we just make the best use of it? And the second reason is that going to have classes is a kind of respect to teachers, to your classmates, and also to yourselves. So I think we should go into the classes. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now let's see your comprehensive quiz. Okay, your highest score is 93.95 and your lowest score 87.8 and your final score is 91.003, sorry. Okay, so you can have some rest.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk about means of communication, what do we think of? Most of the time, our immediate response will be emails, text messages that rely largely on modern technology to survive. However, such acquiescence, which results from horrible estrangement from traditional communication, leads to impoverished human experience in exchanging information as well as emotions. It is very true that acceleration in modern technology has driven us into accepting faster and more digestible communication forms. However, ladies and gentlemen, we have not realized that we were already caught up in the midst of utilitarianism. That's why I'm here today to present you with a more emotional and less practical approach to interpersonal interaction, writing a letter. Now, just for a moment, let's imagine we're now writing a letter. We ponder over the content, but there is no undo button for much rewrite. As the fragrant ink marks the paper, we're trying to steady the shaking hand for fear that a change in the shape of characters will give our emotions away. Unexpectedly, a teardrop betrays us. It blurs the words, and we wipe it away, hoping it won't arouse any suspicion. But my friends, these are not words on shining strings with uniform size and order. It's the words that we are writing with our very own hand, tangible enough to see, feel, and even touch. Writing a letter fleshes out our words with underlying emotions which are often otherwise left unexplored. So, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, try to take up a whole afternoon retreating to the comforts of your room and composing a letter to someone. See, this act is not about achieving efficiency, rather it's all for, as I've said, restoring the emotional side of communication. As the letter slips into the mailbox, you are on a journey of waiting for a response, even for weeks to come. Yes, for weeks to come. Doesn't this process at the same time revive an attitude of slow life, a philosophy of happy living so rich in contentment and expectations? For countless times, you can secretly wonder when and how the receiver will have the first look of the letter and when you are going to have one back. I assure you, this process is long yet sweet, and eventually emotions mellow between you and the other person. But I've seen some of you already taking up your pen or staring at someone else. I know what you're thinking about. Yes, go ahead and write the letter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your speech. And then let's move on to your next part and welcome our question master to give us your question. Please.
You spoke of restoring the emotional side of communication. How can you find something that will bring you lasting emotional peace and comfort when most things only bring us temporary peace and comfort?
Thank you for your question. Apart from letters, which fulfill my emotional comfort, I also believe that nature has the power to do that. Modern technology has come a long way to develop, but it also distracts us from the most important thing, such as our inner feelings and emotions. Every time we're trying to focus on what we're thinking, we use a computer or mobile phone to text someone, an unexpected message might pop up, and notification might unexpectedly emerge on the screen, and that totally distracts from what we're doing. But nature has the ability to calm us down and to allows us the room and space and right and freedom to think and reflect what we've done, what we think, and what's inside ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now let's come to your third part about impromptu speech. Please use your mouse to choose a number in the screen.
So the green numbers are not chosen.
Yeah, blue numbers, just blue ones. No, blue ones are not chosen, the green ones are chosen.
So your impromptu speech topic is that, what qualities do you think a friend should have to continue the friendship? Use specific reasons to support your idea. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver speech. Okay, you can start.
Okay, good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. We often talked about that a friend in need, a friend indeed is a friend in need. However, this holds true in the many circumstances, and me and my friends also have the same experience. But I want to point out that the most important qualities I see in a friend is not when that friend comes to your rescue when you're in trouble. A call and he or she will be there. For me, the most important quality in a friend is that he or she leaves us enough space and dignity to face what we've done and the obstacles we've ever had. My friend, her name is Sally. Last time, I failed the speech contest, and I called Sally. I was so frustrated that I couldn't help but cry at the other end of the phone. But all Sally does is listen carefully, and at the end of my complaint, she said, "Well, I think you need more time to reflect, and then you can come and talk to me." This may sound cruel to some of you, but trust me, Sally's words leaves me enough room and space to think about what I've done wrong and what I could have done to make things better. Later, I called Sally, and I could relate things calmly and really calmly, and reveal the feelings and what I really think about this competition. Later, I made more progress than I could ever imagine, and I'm so grateful for Sally's unintruding attitude when trouble hit me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's lucky that you have a friend like Sally. Okay, so now we go to the final round of your competition, and please use your mouse to choose the right numbers. And you only have 20 seconds for choosing each question.
Okay.
Just click it. Just like what you mentioned, a lot of people try to apply. It's really amazing, right? I fully believe that everyone tried to just plow to, also plow to what you said, that people try to apply a lot of traditional things in the modern time. That is also a way for us to not only remember history, but also to show ourselves in new times. Okay, now I'm very proud to announce your score. Your high score is 98.01, and your lowest score is 90.11, and your after score is 95.04, and your final score is 95.54. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your performance. And now let's welcome contestant number 13 to give us his speech. Let's welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My topic today is communication, the bridge among ideas. Before I start, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the most persuasive excuses for skipping class? Well, when I was in primary school, my excuse was like this. Pretending to be my father, I called my teacher and said, "Hello, teacher. My son will not come to school today because he is sick." My teacher asked, "Who am I speaking to, please?" Feeling both nervous and excited, I replied, "I am my father." Well, that was the first time I tried to communicate with my teacher. It was terrible. Anyway, a couple of years later, I found communication wonderful when I was interviewed to be an English teacher in the Oriental School. But at first I was given a cold shoulder by the human resource manager who queried, "What is your competitiveness against the unreplicate who wants to have the same position? And he's already got MIT's master's degree, but you're only an undergraduate." He's qualified with more than 3 years experience of interpretation. Well, what you have on the resume is just working as a part-time tutor. So in terms of competence, in which aspect do you think you are better? He told me so many advantages about my rebel that I was even thinking about whether he is in love with him. Well, I was shocked and speechless for a while and asked myself, and then, why should I deserve to be chosen? And is there any qualities I have that proves to be more eligible than personal experience or educational degree? Well, if there is, I think it would be the teaching abilities I learned as a part-time tutor. So I replied to him, these two factors are important, but they're not crucial when it comes to teaching. In fact, the qualified teacher should differentiate teaching and telling. Because telling is simply cramming knowledge in students' brains and pushing to learning things passively and mechanically. Well, teaching is more like communicating, to bridge among ideas, to share and exchange ideas. Thus, a successful class should be more of an interacting activity that provokes questions, reflections, and inspirations. And in this manner, both teacher and students are in the active atmosphere where all of the ideas and knowledges can be efficiently understood. That's what I believe what a qualified teacher should really be. And that's the criteria I'm always pursuing. That's why, 3 days later, I got the offer. Communication, the bridge among ideas, is most wonderful and powerful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your speech. And let's move on to our next session and welcome our question master to give us your question, please.
You spoke of your first experience lying to your teacher.
Yeah.
So my question is, how does lying work against building trust with others?
Well, thank you for your question. Personally, I believe that lying is really a kind of obstacle when communication together. And personally, to illustrate my point, there are several examples. First of all, if I were trying to lie to somebody, I would definitely feel guilty about myself. And secondly, when I intend to communicate with somebody else, I would definitely use my most sincere words, because each time when I feel frustrated or upset, I'll use this sincere words to talk with my family and friends and to seek the recognition and for my family and help me to achieve my dreams. And last but not least, I use this kind of, like talk to myself, self-communication, to talk to myself logically in 3 words. If I am equal to, studying, sleeping, and eating, and well, if P equals studying, equals eating and sleeping, well, that makes no difference between me and P if I don't just eating and sleeping. So that's probably the other way I can always encourage myself. So that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good timing. And now please choose a number in the screen. The topic of impromptu speech is that people attend college or university for many different reasons. Why do you think people attend college or university? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. And you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver your speech. Okay, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Well, I still remember when I was senior high when my mom talked to me about how to pursue a dream. She always told me like, stop doing that. You cannot only focus on one subject, because I was really a kind of guy who only studied English and don't give any attention about the other subject when I was senior high. So that's my mom, what I always gave a suggestion to my mom. She always told me that you have to fulfill a dream when you go to university. So that's probably the reason why I always A lot of Chinese parents are want their children or their family and friends to have college, to attend college, to pursue their dreams. Because that's probably one of the reasons why we have to go to college, pursue our dream. And the second reason, probably because to seek better opportunity when we, for our future development, we find jobs in the future. And last but not least, I believe that going to university is to deepen and your study. Because what you're studying in senior high is just real general. It's not really deep and profound and extensive. So you have to go to university to deepen your study and broaden your horizon and learn more about your specific skills. And that will make better development for your future. So that's probably my point. So each one of us should go to university and seek better job performance and create more opportunity for our future development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now let's move on to your final round, which is about the comprehensive quiz. Please use your mouse to choose the right answer for each question. And you have 20 seconds for each question. Okay, thank you. Just like what you mentioned, communication's main function is to bridge the people's heart and to narrow the gap, right? Okay, so probably in the future, you're going to know more things about communication. And now I'd like to announce your final score. Your high score is 96.85. Your lowest score is 91.52. Your average score is 94.13. And your final score is 94.38. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your performance. And now let's welcome contestant number 14 to be the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, what would you think of me at first sight? A foreigner? A person of mixed blood? Well, coming from a totally different cultural background builds a wall between other people and me. Fortunately, communication has melted all misunderstandings, and I came to believe in the power of communication, which can promote and foster understanding among people with many differences. I experienced and realized the wonderfulness of communication myself. Growing up in Xinjiang, I was introduced to different ethnic groups. I thought all of China was like that, but astonished to find it wasn't the case. One time, when I was on the school bus, a mother let her daughter practice English with me, thinking I was a foreigner. I was embarrassed and didn't want to show off my opportunities around us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the impressive speech you delivered. And here let's move on to our second part about question and answer. And welcome our question master to give us your question.
For the people that have never been to Xinjiang, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have, and how would you communicate to them that it is different than what they originally perceived?
Thank you for your question. For a person never having to Xinjiang, they often think of two kind of stereotypes. First, like less developed, and second, like they all can dance. And for this kind of misunderstanding, I will tell that from the development of technology, our Xinjiang is developing very fast than any previous age, and I will send some real pictures to them and when I go back to my hometown. And second, when they ask me, all of you can dance? Is that true? I will say, well, it depends, you know, and I will give some real experiences and real stories to tell them that it's not like all of us can dance. It's like we should be trained and we can dance. And also we are good at education and we are good at languages. Yeah, so I think the most important part is being genuine. Say what have in reality, and I will speak this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And since we have better understanding about people living in the hometown, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the third part of your speech. Please choose a number on the screen. So the topic of impromptu speech is that, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Parents are the best teachers. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. And you have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver.
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think parents are the best teachers. First of all, take my parents as example. When I grow up, everybody said that I was very beautiful. And I believed in this, but my parents told that stop, and you should look inside. What is in your inside is makes you beautiful. And from then on, I should make a lot of effort to study and learn and to be a good person. And second of all, I will take my best. Also an educator, Helen Keller is an example. She was a deaf and cannot see and cannot hear anything, but her parents trained her be a best friend and be understandable when she was frustrated. So I think, to sum up, I think parents are the best teachers. They are always the one who helps us, who wants to give a real hand and who wants to be us the best person in this world. And I appreciate my parents' efforts, and I think parents are the best teachers in the world. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now let's move on to your first part, that is the multiple choice. You can use your mouse to choose the right answers for each question within 20 seconds.
Okay, thank you for your performance. Just like what you mentioned, that
the communication can actually try to bring much more publicity about culture in the different areas, particularly in your hometown, right? Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for sharing. Now let's come to see your score. Your high score, okay, please wait too. Seems a little bit in a hurry, right? Okay, so your high score is 93.85, your lowest score is 89.12, and your average score is 91.76, and your final score is 92.01. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your performance. Thank you very much. And now let's welcome contestant number 15 to be on stage and deliver her speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Puzzled? I feel the same when I talk with my grandma who has hearing disabilities. As a student who has so much homework to do, I do not have the time nor patience to communicate, to play the charade with her. The day before I went to the university, she gave me a notebook and a blah. I just picked it up, threw it in my baggage, and replied her with no patience. One day, I saw the notebook by chance. Guess what is in it? Keep warm, eat fruit, do not stay up late, and so on. I read it with tears, and I was deeply moved. How shameful I am, how stupid I am, how selfish I am. That was what psychologists call the aha moment, because at that moment I suddenly realized that the essence of communication was the interaction between two sincere hearts. So I started to write letters to my grandma. In her letters, I knew her lonely childhood and self-contemptuous adolescence. How much she wished to communicate with others. How sorry I feel for her, and I really want to make up for my ignorance. My attitude toward people who have hearing disability had been totally changed. I want to help them, especially the children. I want to communicate with them, to tell them that hearing disability should never be a barrier to communication. So I dedicated in volunteering activities, teaching them drawing and playing games with them, and I even learned some sign language. Their pure smile and sincere heart impressed me a lot, bring me the happiness and satisfaction that I never had before. What's more, with the responsibility I ran spontaneously. I called for more people to join us, to help them with a sincere heart. How much unpresentative experience I harvested. They rebuilt my characters, made me a more warm-hearted and considerate person. So this is exactly the magic of communication. It is so wonderful that it goes beyond all the medias. It is so wonderful that it brings people closer. It is so wonderful that it made me understand what love is and dedication in volunteering activities. As long as you have a sincere heart, your communication will be super wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the impressive speech you made. And now let's move on to the second part and welcome our question master to give us your question. Please.
You spoke about patience. When someone becomes impatient, they can also easily be angered and hard to calm down. What are some specific ways someone can be calmed down and relaxed after they have become impatient?
Okay, thank you for your question. First of all, I want to introduce an action, a sign language to you all. This way. This means communication. And this is the best way to solve your lackness of patience. Because you should stand in others' position, to stand in others' shoes, to think the problem between yours. Once you stand in the position of others, you can consider in others' minds. To consider this problem from other positions, to figure out what the inside difficulties between in your communication or other issues. In this way, you can just point this difficult and to fix this problem appropriately. And this will become a happy ending. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your speech. And now let's move on to your third part, and please choose a number. So the topic of your impromptu speech is that some people say college degree begins to lose shining, while others do not think so. What is your opinion or view on this subject, and why? You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver.
Okay, you can start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I think that college degree begins to lose the shining. Because first of all, I do not think the college degree have some spark lines, because the college for us is to choose some place to find somebody have the same interests with you. Secondly, in college, have the chance to study in the college does not mean that you're better than others. It just means that you have choose your way to start your living, to choose your area to study, to have some interest in some specific area to explore, to dedicate it to the world. And the last but not the least, what makes you shine is yourself, it's your thinking, it's not some paper which prints like where you study in. So, in my opinion, the college degree never shine. So there is, I don't think, so I think the college degree begins to lose shining. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And let's move on to our final round. That is the multiple choice. You actually need to choose the right numbers, the right choices for every question within the 20 seconds. And use your mouse to click it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So actually, I think that from your point of view, that the stories from the disabilities are really very inspiring, and that is a very good way to stand in other people's position to think about the other things. Probably you'll get more perspectives, right? Okay, let's come to see your final score. Your high score is 92.31. Your lowest score is 87.2. Your average score is 90.75, and your final score is 91.50. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your performance. Now let's welcome contestant number 16 to be on the stage and deliver a speech. Let's welcome.
Good afternoon, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. Just 2 months ago, when I was in America for a course study, one day I was eating at a Beijing cafe whose owner is a 60-year-old man from Shandong. I overheard a Taiwanese guy shouting at the Baosu diner with radical language about the sovereignty of Taiwan. He said, "Taiwan is an independent country. I'm not Chinese, I'm Taiwanese." As a patriotic Chinese student, how can I tolerate this? So I folded my sleeves, I stood up, I directed to him about to take a fight, or it's better to say, defend my country. Just that time, the boss calmly came to him and said, "Young man, please don't argue who is the ruler of China. All I know is that We have the same ancestors. We are yellow race. We have the same blood in our vein. And now, especially we're living abroad, what we need is more unity. So don't get lost. Let the boss went out, leaving the young man speechless. And I hope the young man would understand what the boss is trying to convey to him. Communication isn't about propaganda. The purpose of communication is to enhance or achieve the mutual understanding. What I've learned from this, we'll talk to a person, speak in a tone that is gentle, inducive, and persuasive. And what I'm doing right now, given this speech, is also a type of communication. And my tone must be convincing, inspiring, and understood by the audience. 2 months in America really changed me. Through communication, I more clearly know where my limits are and my potentials are. And right now, I see my potential to be the savior of the world. 100% seriously, I'm not joking. So just look around the ridiculous presidential debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Endless social issues like crime and education injustice, media bullying, and drug and alcohol abuse, etc. We have to hold the belief that those are the issues that we can prove were solved by a genuine communication. We can make those criminals realize his mistakes, and we can help those hopeless people to pick their hopes again. And more importantly, through a genuine communication, we can, or we may, stop any cold words or hot words that completely destroy those flesh and soul of those innocent children. So at the end of the speech, I want to emphasize or maybe repeat the great educator John Dewey's words: of all affairs, communication is the most wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for showing your patriotism here in this platform. And let's move on to your second part about the question master question for you. Welcome.
You said communication isn't about propaganda.
Yeah.
The purpose of communication is to create mutual or multiple understandings. However, we don't see the U.S. doing this in the South China Sea. If you were the next president of the U.S., not Hillary, not Trump, how would you work to make a compromise of how the U.S. military patrols Chinese waters?
Thank you for your question. I think, so we know that China Sea is definitely China, belongs to China. And I think U.S. doesn't have the right to criticize, China Sea belongs to Philippines or China or Japan. It doesn't have the right. And I don't think as a big, a great country in the world, this country, America, should set a great example for the rest of the world that we should call for peace and not violence, not arguing, not declaring any wars to the developing country, especially China. And we have the pride in our heart that China is gradually developing to the second economy world in this world. And I think we don't afraid of this, and I hold the belief that China, won't allow any countries to let other countries to interrupt the political affairs in our country, in our land. And that's one answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Let's move on to your third part. Please choose a number here.
17.
The topic of your impromptu speech is that, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Universities should give the same amount of money to their student sports activities as they give to their university libraries. Why? You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver. You can start.
Thank you. I think right now, the government or university doesn't really, donate much money to both libraries or sports. I think as a result of this Rio Olympic Games, we can see China another third maybe, and I think those sports players are really great in their fields, but right now we see that there's a rising problem that the children, the college students are obesity or their housing problems. So in our school, like we don't really exercise in our PE class. We just check it out. The teacher checks out and we leave. So it's like we don't have this passion, or we don't have the awareness to to exercise, to keep fit. However, in Western countries, that really the governments where the society really focus on the health of those young generation. So that's why British win the first medal in this Olympic Games, right? So as can seen from the news, they invest a lot of money to this game, especially in a different like swimming, right, and other fields. So I feel like the university should give the amount of money to the students' sports activity. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer. And now let's move on to the final round. You can use your mouse to choose, write the answer within 20 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your performance. Yes, like what you mentioned, that country should be developed in all the aspects, right? Okay, let's come to see your final score. Your high score is 92.85. Your lowest score is 87.5. Your average score is 90.86. And your final score is 91.61. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your performance. Now let's welcome contestant number 17 to be on the stage and deliver her speech. Welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. To be frank, once I got to know that our topic is called Communication is Wonderful, my latest experience naturally pumped into my mind. I have to say that I love this topic because in the following 3 minutes, I'll have the great honor to share my own experience with you all. Just 1 month ago, I went to Bangkok, Thailand to take part in Asian Youth Leader Forum on behalf of China. As it was my first time to participate in such a huge international meeting, I was kind of nervous and stiff. While other representatives began to talk, I still kept hesitating whether I should open my mouth. What if I am wrong? What if I say something inappropriate? And what if communication will bring me nothing but embarrassment? However, the feeling of keeping silent all the time was so terrible. And I could clearly hear a voice in my heart saying again and again, "Speak it out, and speak it loud." That's right. Why not share my own experience as everyone else? So I started to enjoy the communication. I introduced the policies in China, compared the social conditions in different countries, and shared my proposal that I prepared before. To my surprise, everyone listened to me so attentively, and the discussion became more and more comprehensive and profound. One of my teammates told me, "Whoa, Jasmine, we love your refreshing ideas. If only you shared with us earlier." This experience was so distinguished and meaningful that I rethink a lot afterwards. Generally, on the international stage, we Chinese people are always portrayed as modest, polite, and taciturn. However, on the other hand, we are turned to be craven, less creative, and too conservative. So, how to object a positive image to the whole world? I guess you have already known the best answer. That's communication. We aspire to communicate responsibly and positively, building the connections in our academic fields and improving the understanding of our social relationships. We also strive to communicate on the international stage, knowing what a significant role it plays in global affairs and in times of war and peace. American philosopher John Dewey once wrote, "Of all affairs, communication is the most wonderful," and I couldn't agree more. So if you have ever had a chance Just speak it out and speak it aloud because communication is wonderful. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And let's welcome our question master to give us your question.
When you went to Thailand, you told yourself to just speak it out. As a language learner yourself, what is more important in English learning, fluency or accuracy, and why?
Yes, from my perspective, I think accuracy is more important than fluency because fluency is about skill, but accuracy is about the content. When we express our ideas, it's more important to express what truly we're thinking about. It's not about authority. We can improve our skills by practicing or something like that, but the context is more difficult for us to practice. We have to experience in our own life and to use the knowledge and to express to improve our content. So I think the accuracy is more important than the fluency. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your speech. And next, let's move on to your third part about the impromptu speech. And just choose a number in the screen, please. So the topic of impromptu speech is that nowadays, food has become easier to prepare. How does change improve the way people live? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver. Okay, you can start.
Okay. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. I still remember that when I was a child, the best thing in my day is that I'm waiting for my mom's cooking, and she will prepare the Nestle meals, and I love them. But nowadays, it's more and more easier to prepare for the food because we can cook some food outside, and it's very convenient for us. It can save our money, and because you can share with other people, so it's cheaper. And it also saves our time because when you are busy with something, you don't have time to go to the restaurant or something like that. But you can just have a call on the internet and the food will deliver to your dormitory door or something like that. It's much more convenient than before. So I do think that food has become easier to prepare. It has changed and improved the way we live. I'm not saying that the traditional cooking is not good, but it costs more time and more energy to prepare for that. But if we can have the more technology way to solve this problem of saving time and saving the money, I think it's a great way to improve the way that we live. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your speech. And now let's move on to your final round. And you can use your mouse to choose the right answer within 20 seconds for each question. Just click on it. Use your mouse. Thank you. Thank you very much. From your story, we know that communication is really very powerful, right? Okay, let's come to see your final score. Your high score is 97.55. Your lowest score is 88.5. Your average score is 92.92. And your final score is 93.42. Congratulations to you. Thank you very much. And now, let's welcome contestant number 18 to be on the stage and deliver her speech. Let's welcome.
When we talk about communication, face-to-face conversation is always the first thought that comes up into our mind. But for me, Communication goes far beyond that. It can be writing an email to your faraway friend to talk about her recent life. It can be reading a wonderful book to get to know a new idea. Or it can be enjoying an inspiring speech to resonate with the story the speaker tells. These communications, in my opinion, help us know more about ourselves. And I, as an instance, managed to find my potential through a TED Talk from Amy Cuddy, a psychologist from Harvard. I used to consider myself to be poor at public speaking because I had always worried about my performance. I would never like to give any public speakings until one day I watched a speech from Amy Cuddy. She showed me how standing in a confident posture before a speech can affect your brain in a positive way. For example, putting your hands on your hips or putting your arms up in the V can make you feel more powerful and less stressed before you go onto the stage and help you express yourself better in the later speaking. Motivated by her suggested ways, I asked myself, why not give it a shot? Hence, for the first time of my life, I decided to participate in an English speaking contest. Before the speech, I followed Cuddy's tips, found a private space for myself, stretching out, making myself big. And she was right. I did feel much more confident and could express myself more naturally during the speaking. Since then, I started to make my voice heard on bigger and bigger stages, from attending school debates to teaching rural kids English, from delivering speeches in MUN conferences to giving presentations in a Stanford literature program. I enjoyed every minute of the speaking. Actually, I am still nervous right now, but with the helpful tips learned from Cuddy's talk, I am able to control my tensions properly. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see from my story, I communicate with Cuddy through a speech, and it helped me explore my potential. And I'm sure it will work with you as well. So please try any communication channels accessible to you and stay open. I believe one day you may discover the real wonder of yourself through it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's move on to the next part.
Before you watch this TED Talk from Amy Cuddy,
yes,
can you identify what it was about the performance that made you worry?
You mean what makes me become nervous, right?
Yeah, you could talk about that.
Okay. Thank you a lot for the question. I think why people feel nervous is because they don't want to be divided. They all want to be understood. So every time I used to, before I deliver a speech, I used to think about, oh, what if my audience do not like me? What if what I speak, my audience disagree with? So it's actually the same thing to everybody. It's a nature, it's an instinct to human. I can tell you that President Obama or Beyonce, before they're going to deliver a speech, they're going to worry about one thing. Was that okay? Can I deliver a speech that my audience can understand? So I think that's why we feel nervous about our speaking, because we want to be validated by people. So I think it's natural, but it's also we can find a way to overcome our nervousness, and that's by power posing. Thank you.
Now you can choose a blue number as a topic of your impromptu speech. Use your mouse in front of you.
So I'll choose 18.
So many people visit museums when they travel to new places. Why do you think people visit museums? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answers. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver your speech.
Thank you a lot. I can think of some reasons for this. I think a museum is actually a very important place that a tourist should go. And because, first of all, a museum has a lot of things about the city. It talks a lot about the history of the city that you should know. Actually, for a tourist, it's not the objects or the things, the food that's the most important. It's the culture that is the most important thing for you to experience. So when you come to visit a museum, you can know a lot about the culture of a city. And the second thing is you can know something that is very. You can know about the people. You can know. So, for example, I used to visit a museum that talks about the heroes. So how they fight against the enemies and how they build our new nation. So you can learn something from their spirit, and that's the most important thing of all, I think. And thirdly, we can know some new things from the exhibitions of the museum. Know some specific knowledge about some subject. For example, I remember one time when I visited a museum and I saw a ghost house in it, and I saw some skeleton of people. So I feel scared, but I learned a lot. Thank you.
Time is up. Now, finally, multiple choice. You have 20 seconds for each question, so take your time.
Okay, thank you.
So your highest score is 94.11, your lowest score is 87.9, your average score is 90.75, and your final score is 91.25. Congratulations to you.
Thank you a lot.
Now, let's welcome contestant number 19 to be on stage and deliver her speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to talk about how wonderful and important cross-cultural communication is as a golden bridge in crossing culture gaps. Have you ever been amazed at the splendid achievement of Chinese culture? Are you curious about what the culture of other nation is? If your answer is yes, then how could we know about cultures of other countries? How could people from other countries know about our culture? It is via cross-cultural communication. Cross-cultural communication bridges different countries together and draws peoples around the world closer than before. To be acquainted with certain knowledge and rules in this field would be beneficial and brings you wonderful experiences. Firstly, cross-cultural communication could reduce misunderstandings between people from different countries. In today's society, the rapid development of technology and economy shortens the distance between countries, and international exchanges covers nearly every aspect of our life. As a result, efficient and successful communication becomes unprecedentedly important. That would demand us of the potential to know more about languages as well as cultures of other countries, which could help us to avoid misunderstandings, because one thing is right, proper, or acceptable in one culture might turn out to be rude in another. Take gestures, for example. The gesture with your thumb pointing upwards means good or excellent in China, but it is a very rude gesture in Nigeria. So failure to know the difference may cause you a big trouble. Secondly, as a Chinese, Introducing our culture to foreigners would be an exciting and meaningful experience. I once traveled to Italy with my parents. One day we decided to have lunch in a Chinese restaurant, favored by both Chinese and Italians there. And it was on that day that I had a chance to introduce traditional Chinese food, 盒子, to an Italian. And I also got to learn something about Italian pizza. It is said that the filling inside 盒子 represents the intro version of the Chinese, and pizza represents the actual version of the Western people. Moreover, we communicated about our cultural differences, and it was really an eye-opener for both of us. Therefore, to be proficient in cross-cultural communication could help us to avoid misunderstandings. To be proficient in cross-cultural communication could broaden our horizons. To be proficient in cross-cultural communication could make the world a harmonious one. Let's discover the wonderfulness and splendor of cross-cultural communication together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now let's move on to our second part.
What does the following famous quote mean to you? Language is the roadmap of a culture. It tells you where its people come from and where they are going.
Thank you for a question. I think that the language is a very basic thing we should learn to communicate with each other, because people come from different countries, and I'm a Chinese, and I usually communicate with foreigners with English. So I have to learn English very well in order to communicate with them better. For the same, such as learning French or Spanish, and it's also so. If we have to communicate with the locals, not all the locals speak English. So, learning more languages is much better for us to communicate with people from different countries. And for that, we can also communicate about culture. So without language, we can't do anything with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now choose a blue number with your mouse. So, neighbors are the people who live near us. In your opinion, what are the qualities of a good neighbor? Use specific details and examples in your answer. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to give your speech.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I think a good neighbor should be friendly. As a neighbor, we have to develop a kind of relationship that we greet each other every day. We say hi in every morning. So if a neighbor doesn't respond anything about you, that means that I don't think it's a good neighbor. And secondly, I think neighbors should help each other. I've seen that in my hometown, me and my neighbor, when he wants to buy something, or he saw that, oh, this decoration light is so beautiful in your house, I want to have one too. Could you tell me where did you buy it? And we will help him. So this is a quality of a good neighbor either. And third, I think neighbors should feel like a family. And sometimes we could invite neighbors to our home to have a dinner with us. And this will also promote our relationships and develop a better communication between each other. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Now let's move on to your last part, comprehensive quiz. You have 20 seconds for each question. Your highest score is 95.35, your lowest score is 90.02, your average score is 91.91, and the final score is 92.41. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's welcome contestant number 20 to be on stage and deliver her speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the topic of my speech is communication is a work of art. 5 years ago, I participated in a conference of Model United Nations. As one of the delegates, I was in a peace negotiation staged in a small island. Just had we reached the ceasefire agreement, a storm struck the region and all the communication has been cut off. The outside world couldn't hear our voice, neither could we learn their demand. Every second, there were people dying of the war that was meant to stop. The deep desperation made me realize for the first time the significance of communication. I am more than glad to see our world as it is nowadays, where refugees have access to a shelter worldwide, where international cooperation are taking place in multiple domains. Business, culture, technology, military defense, etc. With a hard time in Syria, bids fair to amelioration through a common effort of all human beings. We have accomplished le globalisation after the great geographical discovery. A great number of international organizations, firms, alliances have been established so that we are able to share information, to pursue harmony, and to see common ground while resolving differences. The tragedy of a Babel Tower would not be replayed in this epoch of communication. Telling and listening. To communicate is to argue the machinery of a relationship and also to facilitate the possibility of progress. The magic of communication can also be seen in some more detailed aspects. A group of French adolescents visited my hometown this summer. Working as their interpreter, I found them still trapped in the stereotypes of our country, of superstitions and groupthink. However, it was the face-to-face communication that enabled them to refresh their understandings. By role-playing in a Beijing opera, they combined it successfully with a French theater. By interacting with Chinese students of their own age, we discovered more similarities than imagined. We all enjoyed social networks and Billboard music lists. Therefore, mutual understanding has been reinforced. That is a beautiful thing happens when we start paying attention to each other. Now, I would like to end my speech by the quote, "It is important to make sure that we're talking to each other in the way that heals, not in the way that wounds." Right now, right here, it is exactly communication itself that brings us together. How beautiful it is to touch another soul with a word, a gesture, a thought. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, let's check out your question.
Okay.
There's an old proverb that goes something like this. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Can you give me one example where you have touched another soul with a word or a gesture, and how your action helped to strengthen that person like a piece of iron?
Okay, let me clarify your question. That means when I face some kind of divergence in communication with a very tough attitude?
A time that you have spoken a word or
Yes.
a gesture, and how that has helped strengthen that person,
How did that help to
embolden that person.
to actually help him to build his confidence in communication?
Correct.
Okay. Actually, I really want to share a personal experience with you here. That is about my friend who suffers from autism. She has a very rare disease that is called Asperger's. This kind of people, they have a very rich personality and kind of 100,000 of brilliant ideas in her mind. But she is lack of necessary communicative skills in daily lives. She cannot actually understand the jokes from her friends. So I think the only people she can rely was on me, because I always tend to be an attentive listener. So when she is not willing to talk, I just sit beside her and let her write something
I'm
to
sorry
me
to
or
interrupt
draw.
you, but time is
Okay,
up.
I'm sorry. This is a lovely story that I'm really willing to share maybe afterwards. Thank you.
All right, choose a number, please. Blue ones, blue ones.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Some say growing up in rich family promotes children's personality and character. Some think otherwise. What's your opinion and why? You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver your speech.
Okay, to this statement, I can only say I partially agree with it. First of all, a lot of people is sure that growing up in a rich family promotes the children's personality. Of course, they have reason. There is a vivid example that I heard from a TED speaker. She was an Arab woman, where in her culture, the stereotype of women was they cannot receive education. But because of her father's wealth and authority in the society in her hometown, she was empowered with the right to get right education. So sometimes the rich and authority can empower us to give us to the access to resources that other people cannot actually enjoy. So I believe that their convictions has some certain reasons. But on the other hand, I can't say I agree with it totally. We can see a lot of children from rural areas where their family conditions was not so good. They can still alter their destiny. They can still change their life through their own effort, through entering college entrance examinations and finish some graduate researches to achieve their life goal. So I think in this sense, people, no matter they were born in a family rich or poor, we equally enjoy the chance to be a better version of ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to your last part. You have 20 seconds for each question. All right, your highest score is 98.5, your lowest score is 90.2, your average score is 94.36, and your final score is 94.61. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's welcome contestant number 21 to be on stage and deliver her speech.
Good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to give my speech here. To begin with, I'd like to share a story about myself. A couple of years ago, a girl who at most I would call an acquaintance shared an article on WeChat. It was written by my favorite author, so I got a little interested and I went talking to her. She replied, and then we had a little conversation. Later, as we talked more and shared our ideas, guess what? She turns out to be one of my best friends now. As a matter of fact, such things happen to us every single day, and it is communication that links us together and does the magic thing. Actually, it is not only us who need to communicate. Our countries need that too. From Zheng He's voyage in the Ming Dynasty, which went across 30-some countries, pushing forward the trade and the military forces on both sides, to the Russian Emperor Peter the Great, who had sent Russian ambassadors to learn Western culture and policies, which made the dynasty he ruled the most prosperous one in Russian history. And as we look around, the United Nations, the European Union are all aiming at strengthening the bonds between countries and the rest of the world. As we trace back into history, our ancestors created hieroglyphics, and then we got telegram and telephone, and now we have all sorts of social media to make communication even easier. Our history has been changed and pushed forward by communication. Moreover, animals need to talk as well. Ants use their antennas to tell their mates whether the way ahead is worth traveling, and bees stands to show what and where the food is. Even your pet dog would wag their tails at you to show you that they're happy. See, communication is everywhere. From our daily life to the whole world, from the human society to the animals' world, communication makes the impossibilities possible. Where there is communication, there is cohesion and solidarity. Where there is interaction, there's cooperation and development. Communication is wonderful, and so is the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, our question master, please.
There have been recent cases where it seemed the United Nations policies have caused division and strife between countries. Take, for example, the Philippines and China. Would you still hold the position that the United Nations are aiming to strengthen the bonds between countries given these circumstances, and why?
Okay, thank you for your question. My answer is the starting point of the United Nations, the organization, the aim that we started is to strengthen the bonds, right? And sometimes it made some bad decisions and made some bad decisions and caused some really bad results. Like, I will give an example. For, everything, it has two sides. Vitamin is really good for our health, but if we take it too much, then it will cause some make us vomit and would cause damage to our teeth. So is the United Nations. And for some other countries, like the United States or some other countries, sometimes they do the justice things, but other times they may not really make the right decisions. So that is my opinion. The original point of the United Nations is to strengthen the bonds, but sometimes it made bad decisions. Here's the thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, you can use your mouse to choose a blue number. That will be the topic of your impromptu speech. Okay. Which one do you think should come first? A happy childhood, a top marks at school? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to deliver your speech.
Okay, we have heard a lot of examples of students being pushed forward too hard by the parents and by the school, and so they do some really stupid things. And in my opinion, a happy childhood is what comes first at the development of a child of a growth. And first of all, because you only live once, right? And as a parent, you just want your child to be happy, and childhood is just the most happiest time during the time that you grow up, and you will never come back. And second of all, and during this time, if you just let your kid to explore something that she really likes, then maybe she'll find her potentials, and maybe in the later years of her development, she will really make some achievements in this field. And third, if we push too hard on the children, then when they grow up, they will a lot of people, they get really high scores
good grades in high school, but when they enter college, they just have nothing to do because they say, I don't know what I like, and when I'm in childhood, I just study all day long, and I don't know what to do. So that's hence, in my opinion, I think childhood is much more important than the top marks at school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to your last part, multiple choice. You have 20 seconds for each question. Use your mouse, please. All right, your highest score is 97.65, your lowest score is 90.11, your average score is 91.91, and your final score is 92.41. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let's welcome contestant number 22 to be on stage and deliver his speech.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to begin with a real story. Last term, my first year in college came to an end. I got a WeChat message from one of my best friends. She said, "No one is here to talk to me, and the substitute is driving me crazy." The truth is, since she wasn't here in the Darwin's room, she had to delay all her final examinations. And when all her classmates had finished their exams left school, she had to prepare for her exams in an empty dorm alone. The sense of loneliness tormented her every day until the last day of her exams. After hearing her experience, I began to reflect upon the meaning of communication. We are communicating every day and everywhere, either by words or by body language. It is so common and natural that most of us have taken it for granted without realizing how wonderful it is. On the one hand, we find spiritual contentment through communication. Think about it. How joyful it is when we finally get somewhere and share our experiences with our loved ones. And how comforting it is when we meet Starbucks and our families and friends talk us out of it. As for myself, a grown-up, but still in the rebellious age, I used to stay aloof to my parents because that's what cool boys do, right? But when I took the initiative to call my dad for the first time since I had entered the college, my dad was taken aback, but then incredibly happy. The conversation went on for 2 hours, and it was the first time we had talked that much. I felt relieved and more attached to my dad as well as to my family after that. On the other hand, for all the human culture, communication brings mutual understanding. Just as Thor Heyerdahl once said, civilization grew in the beginning from the minute that we had communication. In ancient times, Xuan Zang went on to pilgrimage to the west for the Buddhist scriptures and improved the cultural interaction between Tang Dynasty and the Hindustan. Nowadays, countless academic seminars and forums are held each year, and people from all over the world exchange their ideas for a better world. Once again, I have come to think of my friends to whom I gave a call as soon as I got their message. It was her unintentional word that had reminded me the charm of communication. And that is also why I decided to call my dad right after this contest to let him know how well I had done in my speech. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Now, Clayton, please.
We have a saying in America that it kind of goes like this: a child does childish things, but when he grows up, he leaves childish things behind. So my question is, you said that you're a grown-up, but still in the rebellious age.
Yeah.
If you're still in the rebellious age, can you explain why you're still doing rebellious things since you consider yourself grown up?
All right. Well, thanks for your question. I think the most important reason is when the teenager like me in the rebellious age is due to their impatience. And when parents want to talk to you and you have a conversation, you may not to want to be a good listener, and you don't want to hear what they say. You just want to do what you want to do. So I think that is the most important reason for these issues. And I think to solve this problem, I think the most important thing you need to know is to put your feet into other shoes, to understand each other equally, and to carry those disagreements, to carry them on, and yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, please use your mouse in front of you and choose a blue number. That will be the topic of your prompter speech. Okay. Some people prefer to eat at food stands or restaurants. Some other people prefer to prepare food and eat at home. Which do you prefer? Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. You have 30 seconds to prepare and 90 seconds to give your speech.
So I think I would prefer to take the food, and I would prefer to prepare the food and eat at home. I think eating is a more relaxable thing. So I think I think I want to enjoy the procedure of the cooking, and when I finish my cooking, and I will eat my lunch or my dinner at home, and while at the same time I can watch television, and it's more relaxable. And what's more, I think I just need some private room. I don't want to eat in the public. I just need to be private. So I think I will prefer to cooking at home, because it's more relaxable and more private. So that's all. Thank you.
Your highest score is 92.25 and your lowest score is 88.35. Your average score is 90.58 and your final score is 91.58. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, all contestants really presented a very fierce and rigorous competition for us, which is also very impressive. I think all contestants have finished their speeches, so I think also our audiences and our contestants are waiting for some feedbacks from our distinguished professors. So let's welcome our eminent professor, Ji Wei-Wu, to give some comments on their performances. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to see all of you here, the large audience. This is the first time in my memory that for the final, and there are so many audiences today. So the Foreign Studies University just does a very good job in organizing all these things. I'm very glad to make some comments to the final contestants. And but before that, I'd like to point out this is the 19th session, so we have done 19 sessions of English competition. I am lucky to witness every single section of this competition. So I can tell that the students' speaking level has been getting higher and higher. And today I was very surprised to find out, and all the contestants did a very good job. This is not a compliment, but this is what I believe is true. So there might be one or two or three contestants who are better than the rest, but most of the contestants did a very, very good job. So congratulations. And when you count all the contestants, 22 contestants, when you go back and you sit there and reflect, and then you may think that, then you may feel that you have made very big progress by preparing to come to this contest. So that is the purpose of organizing this activity, not only for the prizes, number 1 or number 2 or number 3, but for the achievement you made. If I can give you some advice, I may think that the topic is communication is wonderful. So when we do communication, the first thing you have to keep in mind that you have to make yourself understood. I speak here with the help of a microphone. Everybody can hear me, but without a microphone, I must make my voice to reach to every corner of this room. So when you do a public speaking, you have to be loud. You must be loud so that people can hear you, so that they can understand you. That is communication all about. So if I can mention some of the contestants, contestant number 5, contestant number 10, and contestant number 14, our beautiful Xinjiang girl, and their voices is very loud, okay? So the loud voices can get you credit. If you speak with a very soft voice, it's not proper, because this is a public speaking place, right? When we speak, remember that we have to make, the first thing we have to make ourselves understood, make ourselves heard, and then we have to make people to listen to our speeches or listen to what we have to say in a very comfortable way. So when people hear us, they feel comfortable, right? So when the operators, long time ago, when operators, telephone operators was trained, they were trained to speak with a smile on their face. They say hello with their, with a smiling face, so that when you hear this voice and you feel comfortable. Otherwise, if you, speak like that, hello, and then it's not comfortable, all right? So contestant 11, contestant 11.
11号选手
No? Okay. If you know contestant 11, I don't know who she is, and when she spoke, she had a smile on her face. So very comfortable when you see and hear. And then I'll have to mention contestant 12, a girl with a red skirt, very attractive. By attractive, I mean her speech was very well, naturally presented. So I give her a very high score. But unluckily, that was eliminated. Anyway, so I don't know whether you have a video, and when you go back to see the video, and you will find that she did very naturally and with a smile on her face as well. And some people on this stage speak very fast. They spoke fast partially because they were nervous. Partially they wanted to show us their English is good. But when we speak, I have to repeat what I just said a few times, and you have to make yourself understood. If you speak fast, people may not understand you, may not catch what you said. So speak not slowly, but in a moderate way, right? If I can, and then when the question master asked contestant number 16 whether accuracy and fluency, which is more important, our contestant 16 believed that accuracy is important, but I may have a little, different idea. And the fluency sometimes is more important than accuracy. For example, long time ago, I went to a high school to visit a friend of mine who happened to be an English teacher there, and on the campus, and two boys was, they were teasing each other. One guy hit the other, run away. The other guy suddenly burst into a swear word, not too dirty. I can show you, I share with you. And he said, "You is my son." Okay? Very well articulate, very well communicative. And he said, "You is my son." Okay? So he was happy, and then he left. In this particular case, affluency is much more important than accuracy. But as a language learner, I know that we should speak properly, okay? Speak properly. I was informed to quick my speech. I have a lot to say, but the last thing is that 20 out of 22 contestants, only 2 girls spoke some kind of a British accent. They spoke very well. So I encourage you as a language learner to get familiar with the other accents, especially at the present situation when our country has a one belt, one road strategy, and we have to go out and speak English to the countries in Southeast Asian countries, in West Asian countries, in the Middle East. They spoke differently than what we learned from our teachers, from our television and radio. So we should learn some other accents, like a Singaporean English, like a Malaysian English, like an Indian English. Okay? So, well, I have to stop. Thank you very much for that, and Thank you again, all the audience presented today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for insightful and hilarious comments on the performances of our contestants. Thank you very much, Professor Ji Wei Wu.
Thank you.
So now we'd like to move on to the awarding ceremony of the contest.
接下来我们就要进入到最振奋人心的颁奖典礼时刻了。And now we also have invited many distinguished guests who would like to give awards to the winners of today's competition. I'd like to give the introduction of them in the first stage. They are as followed. Director Lian Zhongfeng from High End Education Department of Tianjin Education Commission. Welcome.
Associate Senior Editor of Beijing Foreign Studies University, Senior Marketing Manager of FLTRP, Ms. Sun Fenglan, welcome.
Professor Chen Fachun, Deputy Party Secretary and PhD Supervisor from Tianjin Foreign Studies University, welcome.
Dean and Professor Li Xu from School of Foreign Languages and Literature of Tianjin University, welcome. Now we'd like to present the awards of the reading contest, the third prize winners of reading competition. They are as followed. 郭莹、于家欢、李佳蔚、廖欣怡、甘甜甜、李福若、张帅、张典。Congratulations， 祝贺大家。
Congratulations to you all. And now I'd like to announce the second prize winners of reading competition. They are as followed. 杨军、陆静文、郭奇博、康冉、李可慧、魏华。Congratulations to you. And now I'd like to say that the second prize and third prize winners of the reading competition, please go to the AX201 to get your prize after the competition. Thank you very much. And in terms of the winners of the grand prize and the first prize, you're going to get your prize and certificate here on the stage and get awards from our distinguished guests.
Yes, so let's move on to the first prize winners of the reading competition. They are as followed. Zhu Tong from Nankai University, congratulations. Han Fei from Tianjin Foreign Studies University, congratulations. And also Di Lei from Binhai School of Foreign Affairs of Tianjin Foreign Studies University, congratulations.
And welcome this.
And Qian Kexin from Tianjin University of Science and Technology, congratulations, and welcome all of you to be on the stage.
Yes, welcome all the contestants who win the first prize. Please be on the stage.
And we'd like to invite Miss Li Xu and Mr. Li Xu and Miss Sun Fenglan to present the awards to the first prize winners. Welcome.
So all the contestants that we announced just now about the first prize, please be here on the stage and get your awards and certificate. Thank you and congratulations. Please take picture together.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you and congratulations to all of you. Now I'd like to announce the winner list of the grand prize for reading competition. They are as followed. Liu Chunwei from Nankai University, congratulations to you. Zhu Dan from Tianjin University, congratulations. Xu Jie from Nankai University, congratulations to you. And let's welcome the three contestants to be on the stage and welcome Mr. Lian Zhongfeng and Mr. Chen Fachun to give awards. Let's welcome, I'm sorry.
So the grand prize winner of reading competition, please come on the stage.
Congratulations to you, and please be on the stage and take picture together. Thank you very much, and congratulations to you.
And now I would like to announce the winner list of the third prize winners of the writing competition. They are 夏春萌、孙燕坤、刘巧燕、王舒淇、刘静言、朱路易、高月阳、郝子睿. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations. Now I'd like to announce the winners of the second prize of the writing competition. They are 周新颖、赵颖、李新科、孙文杰、徐欣、王庆宇. And the winners of the second and the third prize after the competition, please go to room AX201 to get your prizes and certificates.
And now I would like to announce the winners of the first prize of the writing competition. They are Wu Mengdi from Tianjin University of Commerce. Congratulations. Li Jingfei from Tianjin University of Commerce. Congratulations. Hu Xingyi from Nankai University. Congratulations. Lin Mengxi from Tianjin University of Science and Technology. Congratulations. Lin Mengxi from Tianjin University of Science and Technology. Congratulations. Prize winners, please come up stage, and I would like to invite Ms. Sun and Mr. Li to present the prize.
Congratulations.
Please come up stage.
请获得一等奖的选手上台领奖。
Take a photo, please.
Congratulations. Now I'd like to announce the winners of the grand prize. They are Qian Kexin from Tianjin University of Science and Technology. Please come on the stage. And Hu Xueyang from Tianjin University. Fang Jiming from Tianjin Medical University. And let's welcome Mr. Chen and Mr. Lian to give the awards to the winners.
Please come up stage.
Congratulations. Let's take a photo together.
Thank you very much, and thank you, my partner.
Now, the most exciting moment of our contest, we'd like to announce the winners of the English speaking contest of this year's 19th session of Tianjin Municipality. The third prize winners are as follows: 韩可兹萨迪克、江祥言、高佳慧、陈若楠、高胜涵、李梦雪、杨子佳、秦玉露。Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations to you. And now I'd like to announce the second prize winners of the public speaking contest. They are as followed: 黄河、韩博言、周玉葛、宁雨琪、刘依然、杨子怡。Congratulations to you.
And also then, the first prize winners of the English speaking contest, they are as followed: 陈颖丽 from Bing High School of Foreign Affairs of Tianjin Foreign Studies University. Congratulations. Li Jiaxu from Tianjin University of Technology and Education. Congratulations. 阿卜杜外丽沙无题 from Tianjin University. Congratulations. And also Liu Shuchang from Tianjin Commerce University. Congratulations. Please be on the stage. And also let's welcome our first prize presenter, Mr. Li Xu and Ms. Sun Fenglan, to present the awards to the winners of the first prize. Welcome.请陈颖丽、黎家旭、阿卜杜艾丽莎无题、刘舒畅到前台来领奖，谢谢。
Please take picture together on the stage. Congratulations to you all. And now will be the most exciting moment. That will be for the grand prize of public speaking contest. Who will be the winners? Now, I'd like to announce that they are as followed. Kan Ping from Tianjin Foreign Studies University. Congratulations to you. Li Lu from Nankai University. Congratulations. Zhou Luyang from Nankai University. Congratulations to you. Stage and welcome our presenter, Mr. Lian Zhongfeng and Mr. Chen Fachun, to give awards. Let's welcome. Congratulations to you, and please be on the stage and take pictures together. Thank you, congratulations.
And now, I would like to announce the excellent organizers of this competition. They are Tianjin Foreign Studies University. Thank you. Tianjin University. Thank you. Tianjin Medical University. And Tianjin Normal University.
Civil Aviation University of China. Ren'ai College of Tianjin University. And Tianshi College. Now let's welcome Mr. Lian to give the awards to the organizers.
Please be on the stage.
请各单位代表上台领奖。Thank
Hold
you.
on. Take a picture together. Congratulations, congratulations.
Now let's welcome Ms. Sun to give the closing remark. Welcome.
Welcome.
尊敬的天津市教委领导、大学英语教学指导委员会主任李旭教授、老师们、同学们，大家好。本来今天的讲话是由外研社副编审孙凤兰老师来做，但是由于他那个雾霾原因，然后他飞机晚点，现在还在赶回来的路上。我作为外研社天津市市场经理王文军，代表他来发表这次简短的讲话。首先，热烈祝贺本次天津市第19届大学生英语演讲竞赛暨2016年外研社杯全国英语演讲写作阅读大赛天津市复赛取得圆满成功。感谢天津市大学英语教学指导委员会李主任和各位领导的大力支持，与天津外国语大学，尤其是天津外国语大学基础教学部的有力组织，并向所有参赛选手及获奖教师表示祝贺。这次来参加2016年外研社杯全国英语演讲写作阅读大赛天津市复赛，我感到非常高兴，也非常荣幸。看到众多优秀学子热爱英语演讲写作阅读，表现出现的语言水平和卓越的个人风采，我深受感动。同时，也要对持续关注选手们学习和进步的各位指导教师致以深深的敬意。外研社杯全国英语演讲写作阅读大赛由外语教学与研究出版社和北京外研在线教育科技有限公司联合教育部高等学校大学外语教学指导委员会、教育部高等学校英语专业教学指导分委员会以及中国外语教育研究中心共同举办。其中，演讲大赛已成功举办了15届，在国内外产生了深远影响。写作大赛和阅读大赛分别创办于2012和2015年，延续着演讲大赛的风格，以选拔优秀英语人才为己任，受到了学生和老师的广泛关注。外研社系列英语赛事作为全国最高的英语赛事平台，培养和选拔了一大批高素质的优秀人才。今年演讲、写作、阅读3大赛事是第2年统一纳入大学生英语挑战赛，这展示了天津市大学生英语应用的最高水平，也必将对高校英语听说、阅读教学的评估和发展提供创新的启迪。年复一年，外研社杯大赛记载了中国学生的英语学习历程，也越来越成为当下高校英语教学的助推器。以练促学，以策顿粗，是外研社杯开展演讲网络赛场、写作、阅读大赛线上初赛等一系列线上赛事的初衷。为此，外研社在线上初赛中使用了自主研发的 iTest 3.0 大学测试与训练系统，为写作评分引擎提供作文机器评阅。今后，选手和学校还可以继续使用 Universe 账户，体验 iTest 3.0 丰富的英语测试和海量题库，使用 iWrite 2.0 进行写作训练，检测写作水平，从而将英语学习持续进行下去。与此同时，外研社杯将与外研社国际人才英语考试密切合作，为学生铺展职场高端人才之路。外研社杯系列英语赛事作为全国最高的英语赛事平台，培养和选拔了一大批高素质的优秀人才。可以肯定地说，在座各位出色的语言能力将成为你们的职业发展的利器。
恰逢今年，万研社启动了国际人才英语考试，专为中国大学生测评职场英语能力而设计。它将成为学生展现沟通才能、成功求职、走进国际职场的通行证。简而言之，万研社杯将结合技术与教育，关注学生学习职业发展，关注教师发展，不遗余力地为高校提供人才选拔和人才培养的平台。最后，再次对关心支持大赛的天津市教育界领导、专家致以敬意，对天津市大学外语教学指导委员会与天津外国语大学的全力举办表示感谢，对所有的参赛选手取得的成绩热烈祝贺。我们12月北京再见，谢谢大家。
Thank you very much. We have seen that communication, this word has been mentioned for 1,000 times within 2 days. And all the contestants try to talk about their understandings about communication from totally different aspects and perspectives. I think that we gain a lot, particularly enlightenment from all these contestants. We know that how can we try to understand communication, how to try to make full use of this communication to further expand our future development. I think that in terms of me, myself, I like to promote my communication capacity and skills that I would like to make full use in the future. That would definitely be a very excellent part of my future life.
Indeed, communication is also a process of mutual learning. Without communication, I would never have known that K-pop has already spread it to Latin America, nor would I have celebrated and indeed American Thanksgiving with students from all over the world. And from this competition, I've truly learned a lot from these contestants.
Yes, communication is not just about the language, but the attitude to our daily lives. Even when you watch a movie, when you be with your friends. So I think communication is like you know another life and you know the informations about another side of the world.
I think through the performances of our contestants,
every one of them just sharing their own experiences about communication. This is quite vivid and impressive, I think.
Yes, and you should know that actually we study simultaneous interpreting and the consecutive interpreting for in our daily life, particularly in our studies. I think that interpreting process actually is a way of communication that you have to know how can you try to deliver the message from the original text, from the original kind of the passage into the target language. Particularly when you have been the interpreting right now, you have to know that how can you try to deliver the message to our audiences right now, right?
Yes, I quite agree. This is so true, I think.
So actually in our future integrating process, we have to learn how to communicate. That is very important.
Exactly.
Yes, besides that, I think that in these 2 days, I would like to particularly express my sincere thanks to our distinguished judges and my guests, as well as all the distinguished people present here. Because of you, this competition gradually become much more mature and become very, very excellent and wonderful. Thank you very much.
Our thanks should also go to all contestants and directing teachers. You have presented a feast of visual enjoyment and a mixture of ideas of every individual. A brainstorm, that's a way to put it. I've learned a lot, truly. I know I've repeated this phrase 1,000 times, but it's from the bottom of my heart.
Yes, and our thanks should also go to our volunteers present here, because without your help and support, this competition cannot be a full success.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we would like also to thank the organizing committee of the Tianjin Municipality and also the the Department of Fundamental Courses of Tianjin Free State University.
without your hard work and all the staffs, this contest cannot be a full success. And it is really very hard to say goodbye, but we really looking forward to see you next year.
Yes, but before that, I really wish that all the contestants and everyone present here will try to make full use of this way, this very, very important tool, communication, to actually affect the people around you, to bring the emotional feelings to everybody. That is really the way we live, the way we hope to live in the future. So now I like to see that we wish that everyone will have a brighter future, and we would like to say goodbye. See you next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.